Man, I just realized, did we fucking, make Sherlock Holmes the, Patreon for this week by complete accident as far as detectives?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
not planned, holy shit.
No, no, that was not planned at all. That kismet. I mean, I know there are no coincidences, but no, these two crimes were completely separate.
Oh my god, I love that.
Episode 472 of the TV Dudes, recorded February 1st, 2024. Death and other details. This week, we're talking about Death and Other Details, the new mystery drama series on Hulu. It's created by Mike Weiss and Heidi Cole McAdams, starring Mandy Patinkin and Violet Bean as they solve a murder on a boat full of rich folks.
Like you do.
Yep. Series premiered on January 16th, 2024, but we wanted to let a few episodes stack up to make sure it would grab our attention. But before we get to all that, I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes.
The TV detectives.
Indeed. So, in terms of detecting this week, we've kept studious notes of all the clues as to what we've watched, and we call it our TV diaries.
The Diaries of the Television Dudes. Brought to you by only the finest cocaine wine.
Nick, what all did we watch this week?
Well, yeah, I watched TNG. I watched some more.
Yeah, you're an outright
Next
Trekkie
Generation.
now. It's the only thing you watch.
Sure. I guess I'm more of a Trekkie than a Trekker. I guess there is a difference, a distinct difference. But
Trek adjacent.
like, let's be 100% honest about it. I'm watching Next Generation as a prequel to Lower Decks, just so I can like enjoy Lower Decks gags more. But I have to say, now being up to season 6, pretty close to the end here, the show gets a lot better going like as it goes along. Season 3 is actually where it actually gets good, but then like seasons 5 and 6, like 4, 5, and 6 are like, oh shit, this is like a legit, what do you call it, like a legendary show.
It definitely went from like me wandering into the room and going like hit or miss. Like, oh, that's a classic episode. Ooh, this is a cringe one. Moments, those kind of faded into like every time I walk past and you're watching one and like, oh shit, this is one I've heard of or seen, or like this is a banger. And then, or some of the rando ones, like that's when you really know it's gotten better. There are some minor league characters. Oh, we're bringing so and so back for some closure. Could be trite, could be cliche,
Ensign
and they're
Barkley.
crushing it. Barkley,
Or no, Lieutenant Barkley now.
yeah, Lieutenant Barkley now. Many outranks O'Brien.
Yeah, I called him Ensign Incel when he first showed up, but it's
Right, you
completely
just can't be mean
inaccurate.
to people in Starfleet because they might outrank you someday. And yeah, it turns out his paranoia about the transporter totally founded. Man, Badger's right to be freaked out by that thing.
Also, I think one of the previous seasons, I think season 5, Worf gets to deliver a baby, which is pretty hysterical.
Yes. Yeah, Worf delivering a. I mean, like this, just the promise of Worf that goes unused in seasons 1 and 2 is just it's just criminal.
Yeah, I've been on record as far as seasons 1 and 2, how weird decisions they make, including just not really focusing on Worf a lot in any way. Like, does the show not realize how interesting Worf immediately is? Like, Scotty just showed up in an episode and was freaked out that like a fucking Klingon was on board the Enterprise. Was like, holy shit, things have changed in 80 years. Because also, Scotty got.
Oh yes,
got
Scotty
in a
episode.
transporter incident. Like, got suspended in animation for like fucking 75 years.
I love Scotty lecturing Geordi on like, no, you gave them an accurate response on how long it would take. No.
Scotty inventing buffer time. Now that is some great shit right there.
That's so great. Yeah. I definitely enjoying watching you watch Next Gen and getting to rewatch parts of it. Because like I've tried to cruise through it before and I just didn't. Honestly, I was paying too much attention in season 1 and faded out halfway through season 2. That's how most of my trying like to rewatch chunks of Next Gen is gone.
Right. Even watch the Damak episode, which was, Beast on Tanagra. Shaka when the walls fell. God.
Shaka when the walls fell.
But as
Yeah.
as going forward, I guess I'll see what I'm undecided as far as I'm going to continue this adventure into Deep Space Nine. But
I'm wondering, like, people should sound off in the comments, like folks who have watched a bunch of Trek. Right now I'm leaning towards we just throw a dart, like we should just like randomize it and like roll dice for which Trek property you try to watch next.
Sure.
I think that would be hilarious. But there may be some kind of machete order to this where like people are like, no. If you've just watched Next Gen, the thing you should watch next is obviously Enterprise, or no, it's not, but go.
Right.
So sound off in the comments wherever you're listening. What Trek should Nick take next?
Indeed. Please don't lead me into darkness.
Right. It's all the Kelvin movies.
So I also, in that vein, I kept my watch up on Space Monkeys. Man, there's a lot of Space Monkeys episodes.
Dude, and they're all pretty good.
Indeed. One of the highlights of one of the ones I just watched was, what do you call it? An episode where they all have to face their fears because
yeah.
Rhesus 2 had to basically ditch his original brain, which also contains his fear. And it kind of fucked up with their ship. And he used it like as a plan. I forget the exact plots of the deals, but it was a character focused episode, and it actually really got across all the characters in a significant way of what their greatest fears were. In a really cool way. Like Shaolin especially was, like, just hands show up for her, like giant hands, and it relates back to where she was taken as a baby with and a giant, like, and from her perspective, a giant human hand took her from her family. And I thought that was nuanced and great, and really great, short time invested character development in regards to that. I thought Shaolin was the one that was treated like a goddess amongst humans, and was like, oh, she came from a pretty easy life. She actually sacrificed a life to come out here and
yeah, but the very start of it, super traumatic.
But
yeah, I thought that was cool. I also kind of like realizing that Rhesus 2 is just basically Captain Simeon if he'd been picked up by a shittier alien.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty tragic. And they trap him in his own worst memory at the end of it, and they treat it like a big ha 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 ha, rather than the dark, dark realization.
Oh, it's dark as hell. Yeah, real dark.
Also, there's an episode where Rhesus reprograms the Holoboons so that one of them is actually Kirk. And
that's great.
So he does a Shatner impression the entire time. And also, they have a Nazi aesthetic along with it. Like he does the Zig Heil, like it's a Shatner by way of the Third Monkey Reich.
Fascist Shatner.
Holoboons, the time of our destiny is at hand. We are about to boldly go where no Holoboon has gone before.
It is weird.
Oh man.
And they make great. Like the Holoboons of this episode are like great. They make sounds when they're hit, like. Like this, they're still in the Kirk impression when they're in pain.
That's great.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, I remember. I continue to be impressed with Captain Simeon. I feel like that's a real gem on Patreon that we found.
The meat monkeys. Where are they? They're gone, Jim.
I also watched, you and me watched some Trial and Error, and I watched some more in the background. Just a really good.
That show's so good.
We talked about that one on before. It's just really, really solid comedy.
I own it, but to my knowledge, unless something's changed, it is still not just streaming anywhere, I don't think.
No, I think you and I both own it on Prime.
Oh, it is just on Prime Video now.
Cool.
So yeah, you can go watch it now with commercials, unless you pay the $3 a month on top. Over on Prime.
This is the thing Prime did recently, right?
Oh yeah, like this week. Just a few days ago, I think it started. I haven't actually tested it out, but either way, I own Trial and Error, and you own Trial and Error, because Trial and Error is fan-fucking-tastic. Yeah, just absolutely hilarious show.
Yeah, that's my TV Diaries.
So I watched a couple more episodes of Everything's Gonna Be Okay. And wow, episode 9, the penultimate episode for season 1, is kind of a, I don't know, tough love come to Jesus episode where
That's right. You were
Nicholas, the
telling
main
me about
character,
that.
like lectures the kids about, like, he kicks them out of the car, makes them walk home. We timed it. It is a weird episode, man. It was a lot to take. Like, honestly, it felt like whiplash. Like, it was really weird. I don't know, it really put Fanny off the show for a minute. Like, I think it's going to be a second before we watch the season finale for 1. I still would encourage everybody to go watch it. I mean, if nothing else, it's a crazy to see a whiplashy episode. I wonder if it hits anybody else like that.
Just finish out that
Maybe
season
it's
just
just
to see
me.
if they truly paint Nicholas as in the right there. Because they,
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if there's another shoe to drop here, and maybe there is. I don't know.
like they haven't
Right now
gotten
it
to
hurt.
his autistic or on the spectrum
Mm-mm.
diagnosis, right?
No, that's not till next season, I don't think.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. It was a lot about whether Matilda's ready for college, and I was just, man, it's a weird episode. It's penultimate for the first season. Watched, of course, Trial and Error. Watched some Bob's Burgers. I'm still about halfway through Bob's Burgers. No, that's a lie. I'm like fucking season 11 or something. There's still like more to go in a movie. Speaking of movies, 2 years ago, I spent 12 days in Kerrville shooting a movie where I was actually an actor. And it's called Family Portrait, and it's not out yet, but I finally got to see a copy of it. And that was really cool. It was weird to see myself on screen.
very neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep y'all posted on whenever that ends up out in the world. It was cool to get to see it at all. I hadn't gotten to watch even a screener of it, so that was awesome. Watched a British show with Lisa called Would I Lie to You? It's a bit like To Tell the Truth, or show like that where you've got like a panel of people lying, only it's the format is different. You've got like 2 teams anchored by a comedian, and then I think they just bring 2 people. Like the comedian just brings a couple people, and then they basically take turns just lying about shit that they like in their past. Like I used to do I used to be a bartender at such and such, and like some weird lie, and you got to ask a couple of questions, see how well they answer, and then decide whether or not they're bullshitting. And then there's another round where they just bring out a person, and each person on the team says, "Oh, that's my friend Nick. He and I know each other because of blah." And the next person's like, "No. He's lying. That's my friend Nick. We know each other because of such and such." And like you have to decide who's telling the
Okay.
truth there. And man, the episode we watched, I did not get that one right. Like, of the 3 people, it was like, "Oh yeah, this is my friend Liz. She walked me through basic bartending skills for an acting role that I needed to have, and I learned how to. I'm not a good bartender, but I learned how to do
Even
it."
through all the stranger than fan fiction you went
Right.
through, still no good judge of bullshit.
So that was one of the people was like, "Oh, she taught me bartending skills," and the next person was like, "She is my co-author on a book about British castles," and it was a really nerdy dude who plausibly would be writing that book, and so like that was plausible too. And then the third person was, I babysat her when she was a baby, like an infant, and I dropped her in a pond. And then like they continue to press this woman on this story of like, well, that's got to be bullshit. And she's like, "Oh yeah, so me and my, I was like 5 and my 9-year-old brother, and we were left in charge of this baby for some reason that we were babysitting all day. And when there was a pond on the property, and we were tossing her back and forth between us,
Oh my god.
and she accidentally, I threw wrong, and she went into the pond." That was the real story.
Sure.
And like when they revealed later, like, well, it can't be that one, or that's got to be admitting to a crime or something. And like,
That's like
like, oh yeah, like when okay, stranger, tell us who you. Oh yeah, my name's Liz. That lady threw me into a pond when I was a baby.
my god.
Yeah, really weird British game show, really fun. It's all on Freevee, I think. It's also on YouTube.
Okay.
And then, of course, some TNG over your shoulder, walking through the living room and such. Like, hey, which episode is this? You'd catch me up. I'd watch the rest of an episode, which is a great way to watch anything that's 26 episodes long per season. And yeah, I think that was about it for my TV diaries.
Oh, shit, wait.
Oh, what?
I forgot. Has Been Hotel.
Oh, shit.
You have talked about this before. That's the YouTube thing.
Yeah. It's the same creator for Hell of a Boss, Vivian Medrano. She made the Has Been Hotel pilot in 2019, and then Hell of a Boss kind of spawned out of that. Yeah, and Has Been Hotel was sat as a pilot, just basically she crowdfunded a pilot for a minute and was sitting in development being like might have been made by somebody for a while and then Amazon had it, and so this has been a long time coming. Like Hell of a Boss is already on season 2 and it started after Has Been Hotel's pilot launched.
Yeah, let's say, according to Wikipedia, the pilot episode, which released on YouTube in 2019, was made entirely by freelance animators and largely financed by Patreon followers. So shout out to Patreon followers. The first season premiered on Amazon Prime January this year. First episode also on YouTube, same day for a minute. And then a second season is already in production. Crazy. Yep. But yeah, the popularity of just the pilot of this from back in 2019, yeah, that spawned Hell of a Boss, which, man, Hollywood is freaking weird that Hell of a Boss made it out first.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone, like, at the time, now it's more common, like, there's other shows like, Lackadaisical is out now, and Murder Drones, and there's stuff on YouTube and, just website, like, that's just self-created that's now at the level where, you know, and Has Been Hotel was probably the first one of that.
To kind of jump to...
Yeah, it was just, as an animator, like, Vivian is from the DeviantArt kind of, era.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows in her artwork. It's pretty cool. This is actually made by A24. If you'll remember, like that.
Yeah.
You know, making the movies like Everywhere All at Once and Invitation. But their last TV outing was The Curse, and we all know how we felt about that. Which honestly,
so yeah, you know,
my main criticism of Has Been Hotel, the series, is that it's the exact opposite of The Curse. The Curse is self-indulgent with the style of the creators, to the point where it really is annoying and kind of distracts from the actual story. Has been made. They smooth off the edges, especially in the animation. It really looks like Disney might have made this. Like the style is rounder. It's not as angular as it used to be, which is fine for how it looks because that's kind of how it's supposed to. The idea is it's a Disney musical with people that say fuck and prostitutes and in hell. It's a Disney princess in hell is basically the idea of it. And it suffers from trying to get a lot of plot like they're really trying to exposition heavy in that first episode, so you don't have to watch the pilot, even though it basically picks up after the pilot. You would be doing yourself a disservice if you haven't watched it, really. You don't have to, but it...
Like you should, but they also have to kind of hedge their bet.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes that first episode kind of weird on a watch for me. But the basic idea is that Charlie, Lucifer's daughter, runs a hotel for wayward souls in hell, basically kind of like a purgatory, and wants to redeem some souls rather than the current system of hell, which is when you get sent to hell, you become like a demon. Sinners become demons, and there's constantly more added, and they kind of get more and more powerful. So heaven is kind of nervous about hell having a resurrection or an insurrection at some point. And basically like, okay, so once every year we're going to kill a certain percentage of your population. Like there's a big extinction.
Population control hunting, like deer or wolves or whatever.
Charlie's idea is to rather redeem some souls and get them into heaven, and like basically kind of like a microcosm of the Good Place. In the fact, like, hey, maybe I can redeem some souls.
What if there's a different way? Yeah.
And that way you guys can get some souls up in heaven, and like we won't have to do this mass slaughter we do every year, because it's kind of a bummer. And the way it depicts heaven is interesting, considering the Hell of a Boss universe has never depicted heaven or angels before, to my knowledge. They have lore and items and stuff like from them, but this show, the Amazon show, really rockets through. Like they just introduced Lucifer in like season 5 or episode 5 or 6. No, 5, I think. Yeah, 5. And 6 is where they straight up just go to heaven. They meet Saint Peter. Saint Peter has a musical number. There's also a lot of musical numbers in this thing. There's at least 2, if not 3 an episode, I think. And they range from like pop songs to like theater. Like Charlie's kind of a theater kid, High School Musical thing going on. But they run through things that are like interesting, but don't really have a time to play out. There's only 9 episodes. So they keep introducing new characters rather than, fleshing out a lot of the ones they do have. Like Angel Dust is a porn like actor down in hell. Hell also has an adult film industry, which is interesting. He's also explicitly a sex worker, and it does kind of come off like Charlie's trying to save him from sex work, even though it's hell. Like it's one of those things that I wouldn't be confused about the message if they kind of stayed on the characters a little bit more. But the designs are great. The look is polished, and the songs are absolutely catchy. Like the actual song numbers are pretty fun. The standout characters are Husk, Keith David as the bartender of the place. He's like a winged cat.
Nice.
And he's a gambler. Angel Dust, like I've already mentioned, he's got a pretty good toxic relationship going with his movie producer and like live-in boyfriend that like he literally owns him and owns his soul for the time he's shooting. And it's shown as a pretty dark depiction of domestic violence. And Alistair, the radio demon, is really cool, very mysterious, and I like him a lot. As far as he's the one that's backing the hotel. Like he's constructing it as it keeps getting destroyed by random demons because this is hell, so they just get attacked randomly. I don't know. I want to finish it out before I give a full mounting critique on it, because I want to say that something got lost in translate. This does not feel like Hell of a Boss or even the pilot of Has Been Hotel. There's some sort of like lack of focus on character, in my opinion, but I am very interested to see where it's going. So, and I'm not sure whether to recommend to you to either watch the pilot, or it would be interesting to watch it without having seen the pilot, seeing if it, if you truly miss something or lose it.
Yeah.
Because it could be that I'm bringing a lot of the style from the pilot that I liked that some might not have made it to the Amazon version.
Yeah. Might be an interesting experiment to watch it without.
Yeah. I mean, they also made Invincible and Vox Machina.
So fun fact, out of those, Has Been Hotel is the biggest animation premiere on Amazon Prime.
Wow. That
Most watched, I
doesn't
think.
surprise me. It's been percolating on YouTube, and it's one of those things that people send around. Oh, have you not seen the Has Been Hotel pilot? It's really...
We're all waiting on blah, yeah.
But also the pilot is all the promise of a show, and it's why people like, oh man, that sounds cool, and it doesn't have to deliver on anything.
Yeah, in those instances, the longer you wait can start to burn you. Expectation gets out of hand.
Yeah. Well, at least in this instance, we had Hell of a Boss to kind of go through.
Tied over. Yeah.
There was so maybe some plot lines and stuff actually got chipped over to that show, it seems like they're kind of pretty inherently different. I also like that Charlie and her girlfriend Vaggie are established from the jump. Stephanie Beatrice plays Vaggie. I think her full name might be Vagina. I'm not 100% sure on it. Like,
I was trying to not ask.
This could be bad.
Cheer up, Vaggie. This could be swell. Something tells me that today will be a happy day in hell.
Okay, but just don't sing to them.
That bitch is halfway down the street.
Is she?
Oh, she's dancing.
No.
Now, this feels like a good time to mention that you can go over to patreon.com/thetvdudes and throw us $1 an episode, get some bonus content every single week. This week we are continuing our Lost cartoon binge, which I am loving. We kind of fell into that by accident. I think we just started watching some weird 90s cartoons, and it's really turned into, like, especially with moving over to dropping episodes every Saturday morning. You can check out our Patreon each Saturday
It all
morning.
started with Skeleton Warriors. Or
Yeah.
no, Vampires. Vampires was the start.
Vampires, yes. And then Skeleton Warriors, of course, then Captain Simeon, and now Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, aided by a female Lestrade and a robot Watson. How can you go wrong? Hear us talk about it over at patreon.com/tvdudes.
Of course, you can also, pitch in at a higher level, my dear Watson, if you would like to pick your own, maybe not 90s. We could, if you're not into a 90s cartoon kitsch or something like that, or you have your own cartoon you want us to cover, and so because there's a showrunner level, I do believe, at our highest Patreon order.
Indubitably, my dear Nick. Yeah, it's elementary. You go over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Just patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us $20 one time. You get to pick a show, just like John Paul did last week. We'll watch 4 episodes of it at least, more if we dig it, and we'll make it the main show, just like you saw last week. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/tvdudes and tell us what to watch. Now for this week, we picked, and we'll find out in just a moment whether we regretted that.
Man, even I don't know.
Yeah, it is tough. We're going to talk about Hulu's new mystery series, Death and Other Details.
Indeed.
Can't believe we're gonna be trapped on this thing for 10 days. I'm so sorry I dragged you into this.
Pay attention. If you want to solve a crime, you must first learn to see through the illusion. Details matter.
Yesterday, one of our guests was murdered.
You gotta be kidding me! This watch is worth more than you make in a year!
Somebody has to do something. Doesn't always have to be you, though. But I'm so good at it.
We've increased security throughout the ship to keep everyone safe. And we're fortunate to have a world-renowned detective on board, Mr. Rufus Coatsworth.
Oh my God.
Should I introduce myself? In 24 hours, Interpol lands on this ship, and you will be their only suspect.
I didn't kill him.
I want to help you, Miss Scott. Anyone on this ship could have killed the victim. But why? I will be questioning you individually. Tell me about your interactions with the victim.
I never met him.
The man was a buffoon.
Hey!
Where were you between midnight and 8 a.m.?
My grandmother won't be happy.
I did not say that!
Who told you that?
Preposterous. Do not make an enemy of us.
No alibi then.
Excuse me.
You're good at this.
You already knew everything that I have just figured out.
It's more fun when you unravel it yourself.
What do you need me to do? You need me to spy?
I need you to trust me.
There are forces at play that you cannot comprehend.
There are billions on the line.
It's a puzzle.
We have what we need to solve it. Now we make the pieces fit. Pay attention. Details matter.
What have we learned?
A lot. Just not, who done it.
Mandy Patinkin plays Detective Rufus Coatsworth, and Violet Bean plays his protege, who also hates him a lot, Imogene, and they dig for truth on a Mediterranean ocean liner where everyone is hiding something and at least one person is dead. Nick, other than Mandy Patinkin, and I like Violet Bean well enough, we got to chat with her back in 2018. She was really, really fun to interview, even if God Friended Me was not a show I wanted to keep up with necessarily. Violet was super cool to talk to, so I want to see what. Good for her. Also, Mandy Patinkin, man, hope he finds that 6-fingered man. Killed his father. So I had mixed feelings about this. I love a locked room mystery, but also, I don't know. It looked a little twee and cute, and it is. What'd you think? We've watched 4 at this point, and it's
Yeah.
10 long.
Yeah, so on first blush, I think that first episode, it does not do itself a lot of favors. I think it took 2 episodes to really get into the
It
groove of it.
absolutely took 2 episodes to get going on that for me.
In that first episode, it very much feels like, what if Wes Anderson made an Agatha Christie novel?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Because they do stuff like, they break the watch at the time of death, so like they know or break the broken watch at a certain time, and then time of death, like how it.
Oh yeah, there's lots of little like classic.
That was immediately on Murder of the Orient Express was also like that was a plot point. People have one-sided conversation on phones, like that are weird and spaced out. That I think would be funnier if we heard the other side of it.
Yeah.
Because also the show is not a drama. It's also not really a comedy.
It's not Screwball, but it feels like it should be. But it's not.
It's not a hilarious, but it is amusing.
Melodrama, but
at
it
certain
could
point.
be. Yeah.
Although sometimes it feels like it's being more amusing than it is. Well, I guess first off, Mandy Patinkin plays the world's greatest detective after he's been washed out, which is an interesting point of like, okay, imagine Hercule Poirot, but he fucked up one of his previous cases and is now
like
a booze
pretty
hound.
high profile case. Yeah. And like fucked it up in a way that pissed off the client and got him shamed. Now he's just a drunk and he's hired by a rich family to be their in-house
security.
Yeah.
And it all takes place on this cruise ship with a what do you call her? A hanger-on of her rich friend.
Yeah, Violet Bean's Imogene is not herself rich. The crime that Patinkin fucked up and couldn't solve is the murder of her mother and it's definitely a murder. It's a car bomb that Imogene's very nearly caught in, and the family that hired him that also destroyed him, I assume, when he couldn't solve it, raised her, like brought her in and adopted her, basically. Which is how you get like a modern Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot hired to investigate your mom's murder, is you have a rich family looking into it. And that's kind of how we open, is that their bond. And then you don't quite know until they run into each other on the boat, kind of the other shoe of that he didn't solve it. That's why he's a drunk now. And she freaking hates him when she sees him. There's an immediate go over. She doesn't just throw a drink in his face. She throws the drink at him, like hits him with the glass and cuts his eye.
There is their relationship throughout the series is probably what is the best about it. Because Imogen hates him simultaneously, but also has read his book cover to cover and kind of has the skills to be a detective, even from an early age, like her observational skills. And Mandy Patinkin's character is trying to basically, train her or sees her as a sort of a protege. And when the show focuses on that, I think it kind of really works. It's where the other characters seem to drift in and out of the story seemingly on a whim that I feel like the show loses focus.
Yeah, I both absolutely love the on rails, like let's just move you through this Agatha Christie whodunit kind of thing, but 10 episodes is long to do that, so I know that they're going to play cute with a bunch of stuff they're already doing a lot. Even in the intro stuff, you can tell the show's got to focus around the vagaries of memory and how bad eyewitnesses are, and can stories be changed by misremembering them, and
the editing of the show is lifting this show up is fucking heroic. It is saving a lot of scenes in the edit, as far as when a scene cuts on the emotion of a scene, or how it transitions from one scene to another via a cool
There's a lot of style on that.
Yeah, because when someone misremembers something, suddenly we can change something in the environment, and that can transition into either the same scene again, or they transition it to a new scene based off of whatever was being spoken out before. If I had to tip my hat to anything in this show, it is the editing. I think
I would say so, yes. you brought up The Curse before, and it's the exact opposite of that. That shot in The Curse where like we end up behind a door, obscured, looking through the peephole at the people. That was so freaking infuriating. Like, oh god damn it, just stop obscuring every shot. I get it. This show's the opposite. Like this show like has moments that really make things work in a visual manner, transitioning me in and out of things, slamming this, taking away the sound and like slamming me into another scene. Like there's just lots of cool moments. Also, I am digging, I didn't think I would, but I'm kind of digging the vagary of memory thing. Like they keep kind of retelling Rashomon style. As they interview more people, they keep retelling things, and we get this after party vibe of differences. And I am hopeful that this means that this show might be really fun to rewatch if there has been stuff changing. I don't know that there has, but there's a good chance that we've seen a couple of scenes over already and seen things differently and not.
Right.
There's kind of a, find the 7 differences in these drawings kind of thing going on. And that's cool. I keep getting caught up. I don't know why a part of me does not want to like this show. And I don't know what's making me keep from putting both feet in exactly. I don't think it's any one thing. Like there's the dialogues, everything that is not the mystery feels a little perfunctory. Like they're just, the dialogue's just there, except when it deals with the mystery, and that it's super cool.
What falls down for me specifically is the characters other than Patinkin and Bean.
Yeah.
Because every time anyone else pops into the screen, I always have that, oh, right, you're here. I kind of always forget that they're around.
We haven't done the standard thing of move through each, like, I feel like most shows, each person would have had an episode. But I haven't spent an episode finding out about the son or the governor or
the lawyer, the priest.
Yeah.
All these people should have distinctive personalities.
Yeah.
And I feel I don't really know them even this far in, like we're 4 episodes in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're about to start episode 5 when it drops on the 5th, I believe.
And instead, we had a whole episode with Jacques and his refugees.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like Jacques has a lot of screen time, and I don't think Jacques is a very particularly. He had the potential. Like at first, I'm like, oh, he's lying about who he is, and then he had the potential to be interesting. But then no, he's just a good guy.
He's the killer. I think he's just a dude.
He's just a good guy that is trying to help some refugees, and then those refugees take up a significant portion of the runtime. And I'm like, dude, if you took out this refugee story, could we have done this in 8 episodes? And like, if we cut out some other stuff, because like that felt like padding.
I hope I'm going to be surprised and that they're setting these things up to bring them back in, but I don't know. I'm feeling a little cynical. That said, I did not expect to get hooked on the mystery at all. And I want to see who did this. Like, I want to see, like, I want to see who did it. I may wait for a few episodes to pile up and then just watch them all.
At a risk of running to spoilers, one of my favorite characters is actually the victim. Because it turns out the victim was undercover as Coates' assistant. Or Coatsworth's assistant.
And every time they show us more and more about him, the more and more I like him. It even makes, even when they show us him being an asshole like we thought he was for the first episode, it's even better now because it's an act. It's so good. He's the best character, and of course he's dead.
Yeah, and you only really like him after he's dead. Like, it makes me sadder in retrospect that he's gone, because now all of his shit is in flashback, which they don't have really a rhyme or reason with the flashbacks either. It feels like, at first it feels like, oh, we're going to be doing, all these are going to be flashbacks like After Party. But no, there's a lot of investigation that is done in the present time, and sometimes it'll take us a while before we hit the person in the episode that's going to tell us a story about the flashback. But he does a great job of, like, he seems like a completely different person as the assistant that wants to help solve this mystery for the girl we never solved it for, and the douchebag that he's playing to rattle everybody to see what they'll do under pressure. I believe we've coined him as as a Vincent D'Onofrio type, like Vincent D'Onofrio light or Vincent Half-Offrio.
Yes, yeah, and man, this is cruel. Wikipedia does not list the victim in their cast, I don't think.
He's kind of a big character.
That's cold, man.
I like him and know more about him than a lot of the other like her Imogen's friend has a whole thing with her wife and who's has a is paranoid because she's obviously being chased by somebody. Like she used to be a journalist.
Leela is my other favorite thing going on. There's actually something interesting there. I don't know what is up with her, but her crazy ass 5G thing and the fact that she's also a clickbait journalist who it's like she works for the Weekly World News but actually saw something like, wait, why are you legit scared of that? Is the Bat Boy real?
There's also the family, the Chinese family that they're trying to sell their company to. And
yes,
that is a whole cast of characters that like basically there's only two of them. There's the grandmother and then there's the woman that Imogen's friend is also like had a previous relationship with that seems like that might be causing complications for this deal to go forward.
Yeah.
And all those things are given some time to flesh out. But honestly, and it's not like this show has too many characters. There's 10 episodes. I just feel like you need to actually, before we even know who a lot of these characters are, we're brought in with a whole new character. Like I like some of the new characters, like the Interpol agent, Erickson. Do what you do. I am here for Interpol.
Yeah, no, she's good.
Here to basically make you look like a fool and arrest a bad case. And I think that character is great. But also I realized that, oh shit, I don't really know anything about the lawyer. Hey, did we leave the lawyer strung up in BDSM?
Yeah.
In a previous thing?
And he has a great name, Yelwin. And is man, he's one of those Jer Burns. He's one of those actors that you've seen and love. Tons of shit. Yeah.
And I think what happened is that what fails this show is the writing, especially the writing and the dialogue. Everyone says what they need to say in order to get the information across. Like it's for the mystery to progress. Like it's all in service of the plot. And sometimes even then they handhold you too much. Like they treat things that are, they treat a couple things like reveals that just aren't.
That just aren't. Like, but, and not because I'm smart, but they showed it to me.
Well,
like,
the lawyer is.
They're just counting on me not have seen it.
They find the lawyer in BDSM getup in the beginning of an episode.
Right.
And then at the end of the episode, they find a dominatrix. So like, oh, I was in a dominatrix thing, and I actually wasn't the killer. I was servicing a client. And one of our Imogen, I think, says, "Well, if it wasn't that room, whose room was it?
Who's your client?"
And I'm like, motherfucker, I am not.
This is one of those moments for Mandy to look over and like, child, stop.
And that's what sucks is that
he does that to her a lot.
They're trying to show that Imogen is new at this, like she's not as like, but also that makes her, it makes her look simultaneously smart and dumb.
No, and a lot of the show hinges on Imogen looking really smart. So I was thinking at the time of like, well, maybe they did it on purpose, but it really doesn't serve them to. And so it's not. I don't think it's in service of anything for Imogen's character. I think it's because they were nervous that the audience somehow didn't put that together. And I'm sorry, if you didn't put that together, you're going to have, I think, trouble with the mystery show.
Well, also the journalist that's being chased by, who thinks she's being chased by someone that is higher up and blackmailing people might be, and it's like in the reveal of the episode we just watched was, do you know anything about Victor Sims, the person that was the high level blackmailer of the case that involved your mother and her death and intimidation? And I was like, and it was the first
Victor
time you
Sachs,
saw her her car accident, because the Imogen's mom also died in a car. And I was like, oh, they're pretty much telegraphing to us that these two are being hounded by the same character or, mysterious organization. And they treat it like a huge reveal. Like it's Victor Sims is like, I know Victor's like, oh.
But we know from Imogen's first confrontation with Coatsworth, with Mandy Patinkin's character, like we know that he's here because somehow or at least I thought we were supposed to understand that it somehow ties to her mother's case.
Right, and it ties into the family, like whatever the family's dealings deal with Victor Sims. And so I think that the show thinks that because it's the wife of one of those family members and it's her it's her political intrigue story, that the fact that those connect is a big surprise. And it
just isn't. It doesn't feel, it didn't hit that way.
It really doesn't come across that way. And it makes me feel like the writers don't know what the focus is, like what's important or how much information that they're actually giving to the audience. Because the whatever personality is being brought to the characters is really being brought by the actors, I think. It's not really about what's being said because what's being said is pretty generic.
Well, and if you're just going off of like character stuff, I've got nothing. She's really smart, and that's really cool. But also, she really is just a rich hanger-on friend. Like she doesn't come off super. Before this murder mystery, I don't know that I would have really wanted to hang out with Imogen.
Right.
You know, and that's not necessarily, I suppose, but she's the main character. Like I keep
Well,
wanting
she
to
stands up for a
assume that-
maid in the first episode, and I think that's
Yeah, and
supposed
that
to
is
get us
cool.
on her side.
Yeah, that's the save the cat moment for sure. So running through the cast, we've got Violet Bean as Imogen Scott, and I feel like she's doing a great job. She so much of this show rests on her being charming and looking smart, and I feel like she's pretty much pulling it off. She's absolutely proven herself in my eyes to be able to be the center of a show, especially when the other actor you're with is Mandy Patinkin, who definitely can carry his scenes. I mean, that guy's just a fucking legend.
Mm-hmm. Got him doing this weird voice though, where you can barely understand him.
He is mumbling straight through his teeth and beard, man. I want to pry Rufus's mouth open. Pardis Sarami. I don't know her from anything else. She's Leela, the paranoid wife and clickbait journalist. She is absolutely captivating. Like every time she's on screen, I'm like, what is going on with that lady? She just pocketed a knife in the background. Holy fuck. Like she's really bringing it, I feel. Angela Zhao is Teddy Go. She's the crew manager. She gets most of the funny lines, I feel.
It's because she's kind of, her bluntness is on purpose and meant to be mean.
Yeah. That the agent Hilda Erickson that you'd mentioned, the Interpol agent that shows up that I love is immediately like every bit as world's greatest detective as Rufus, which is just hilarious. There's no bumbling cop. She shows up and just cuts through all of it. It's great. It's Linda Emond, and she's awesome. You see, as soon as you see her on screen, you're like, I've seen you in a million things. Raul Coley, who's recently of the Flaniverse, but I think we all first saw on iZombie, turns up as Sunil, the actual owner of the cruise ship. I am glad that they didn't immediately ditch him as any kind of love interest or anything. Like they've kept him around even as Imogen has kind of done him wrong a little bit. And now they're stuck together.
He's kind of the secondary. He's actually the prime love interest now that
but he kind of got burnt a little bit and knocked down, and now he's kind of back. Now they're stuck together going to Malta. I like their chemistry together. I'm a little interested to see how dude handles kind of not liking her at the moment. Like he's helping her save some refugees, but he doesn't really like her.
What was it, John or Jock or whatever, the security chief?
Yeah, Jules. Hugo Diego Garcia.
He was a red herring in both the killer thing and as a love interest.
Yes.
Honestly, to the point where I'm like,
why are you on the show?
This character is this character necessary to this?
Absolutely not. And not only was he not necessary other than as a misdirect, it would have cut off the refugee storyline as well, which would have shortened this show. We've also got Jared Burns as Yelwyn Mathers, the lawyer, who I think is doing a great job. And then I think my favorite funny line of the show so far was actually the dad, Lawrence Collier, who they play him. We thought the man was like addled for a while because he says so little, but he steps up to make this big speech, and the entire speech is, "I'm a man of few words.
I've always been a man of few words."
And then he just leaves the stage.
He leaves the stage. Fucking ball.
I stood and applauded in my living room. Bravo, sir.
But you realize,
Bravo.
Les, that the funniest move from the character is a character not speaking.
Right. Which is weird. Also, it took us a little bit to figure out what the shit was going on when the narrator calls us reader.
Oh yeah, well
that was odd. That's very twee and cute.
Another one of the aspects I kind of like, I go back and forth on. Sometimes it's fun as far as, an overarching narrator, but he's narrating this in the past tense as the second book he's written. Although you don't know who he is or he's a writer or a book until a couple of these have already gone by. So it's pretty needlessly confusing.
It is cute just for cuteness, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So final thoughts. What's your verdict on it? You gonna keep watching?
I guess I will. at least for maybe one more. I can't. 10 is really long. There is a moment where they make a joke based off of how bluntly one of the refugees tells Imogen that Jules likes her. Like, oh, you're the one that Jules had to carry. That had to carry Jules back to his room. He likes you, and he says her English is not very good. In a retrospective, like, oh, she's saying things simply and bluntly because her grasp of English is not that great. Trying to get himself out of the commitment of saying that he likes her. What is everyone else's excuse in the show? Like, because her dialogue, honestly, I'm like, I swear to God, her dialogue is not different than anyone else's on the show.
Other than the accent, her actual sentence structure is not. I mean, like her bluntness is not any different.
It's not like she's speaking in broken English. It's just that her English is so on the nose and
her
unsubtle.
Just saying, it's nobody's dialogue is subtle. It feels very just matter of fact.
Right, and I'm like, well, everyone here, like the Chinese family, English probably is their second language, but everyone else here is a native fucking English speaker. Why is their dialogue so? I really, if I could change one thing, I would just go in on a script pass and change how everyone, like, just how everyone speaks a little bit, so that I can differentiate who's talking.
Is the same for almost everybody. It feels,
So I would say. Academically, I'll still watch for the story as far as to who did it, because I'm genuinely curious. But not for... I don't think I'll care if anything happens to any of these people.
Yeah, I don't feel... I'm not concerned if more people end up dead. It'll be entirely mathematical. Like, ooh, well, then that eliminates this. Like, it's a game of Guess Who. I don't care about these cardboard things. That said, I find myself wanting to keep watching it just because I really like little mysteries and I am enjoying the locked door mystery of it. And like you said, I'm come and go on whether the narration works. Like, there's a lot of the meta stuff and the changing memory and all of that stuff that, like, in some scenes bugs me, in some scenes I think is interesting, but I'm back and forth. Either way, I'm going to finish it out just because I want to see who did it, and I don't want to just read the wiki of it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely... I feel like the things that are wrong with this show are things that might just be hitting me wrong, or might hit other people differently. There's some stuff that we watch where I'm like, Jesus Christ, How I Met Your Father, that's a trash fire, what the fuck? This one, I would say, if you like a murder mystery, it's a murder mystery that has... good actors I dig and some production value behind it. I would check it out.
It'll tide you over till the next Knives Out fucking movie comes out.
Right. I would say get through 2 episodes to see if the mystery hooks you, though.
Yeah, that first episode is rough. It throws a lot at you without explaining. Like, even the timeline, like when we were confused as to when events were happening. Remember, like when a montage would happen?
Right. We paused it and argued over how many days had gone by. Yeah. Because clothes changed and stuff. It was, there's I get through 2 episodes to see if you're hooked on the mystery. I was surprised, and I think I'm going to finish it out now.
Sure.
Well, that about wraps it up for us. Tune in next week. We're going to chat about Griselda, which I think Nick is going to dig. It is a new crime series over on Netflix about the godmother of cocaine, I believe.
Oh, okay. We got a scene of this.
Yeah. I know you do love a Narcos, so
sure.
Should be cool. We'll check it out.
While we're doing that, you can investigate our Patreon page over at patreon.com/tvdudes to choose your own show like John Paul did last week with Everything's Gonna Be Alright. You'll also hear more bonus content like our review of Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century.
It's Everything's Gonna Be Okay. I get that show title wrong. Maybe 3 times out of 5. It's ridiculous. I don't know why that combo of words is so...
It's elementary, my dear Watson. It's just
indeed.
It's generic sounding on purpose.
So, until next time.
TV Dudes out!